If the Cold War had escalated into full nuclear war, the 20th century would have been rewritten in fire and ash. Imagine the tension of the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 tipping just slightly further. One misunderstood signal, one commander pressing the button instead of holding back. The United States launches missiles at Soviet sites in Cuba. The Soviet Union retaliates by striking American bases in Europe, and within hours, the skies over both hemispheres are streaked with fire. The doctrine of mutually assured destruction becomes not a deterrent, but a grim prophecy fulfilled. In this alternate history, the first cities to vanish would be Washington, D.C., New York, and Moscow, reduced to craters of glass and smoke within minutes. London, Paris, Warsaw, and Berlin would follow, as Europe, wedged between the two superpowers, absorbed the heaviest blows. Civilian casualties would be in the tens of millions before the first day ended. The very fabric of modern civilization would unravel as governments collapsed. Communication systems burned out under electromagnetic pulses, and chaos replaced order. Survivors would scatter into the countryside, seeking shelter from the fallout, but there would be no true escape. Radiation poisoning would kill millions in the weeks that followed, while food chains broke down and supplies vanished. Cities that were spared direct destruction would still face starvation, disease, and lawlessness. The dream of modern progress, computers, space exploration, global trade, would be crushed under the weight of nuclear winter. The world's climate would plunge into darkness, crops would fail, and temperatures would drop as dust clouds blocked the sun. The balance of power would be shattered. The Soviet Union and the United States, the two giants of the Cold War, would emerge crippled if they emerged at all. In the vacuum, smaller nations, China, India, parts of South America, and Africa, might slowly rise, piecing together what remained of human society. But these new powers would grow from ruins, shaped by a generation raised under ash-filled skies, where survival was the only politics. Culturally, humanity would change forever. Religion might resurge as survivors sought meaning in devastation, or perhaps new ideologies would form around the memory of the firestorms. Art, literature, and myth would depict the Day of Fire as the ultimate tragedy, a cautionary tale etched into the human psyche. Generations later, survivors might tell children stories not of progress and technology, but of the hubris of nations who played with God's weapons and paid the price. Yet even in this bleak scenario, there is a strange resilience in humanity. After centuries of rebuilding, new civilizations might arise from the ashes, but they would be fundamentally different. Nations would likely outlaw nuclear weapons entirely, seeing them as cursed tools. Energy, science, and governance might be rebuilt with caution, with strict cultural taboos against repeating the sins of the past. Perhaps paradoxically, the horror of global nuclear war could one day lead to a more unified humanity, one that understands deeply the fragility of life and the folly of unchecked power. Still, the cost would be unimaginable. Billions dead, cities gone, knowledge lost, history scarred beyond recognition. The world as we know it, the internet age, global connectivity, space exploration, might never have existed. Instead, our story would be one of survival in the shadow of our own destruction. The Cold War was, in reality, a war avoided, a victory of hesitation over annihilation. In this alternate reality, hesitation fails, and humanity learns the hard way what it truly means to live with the power to end itself.